keep his nose clean.
So it sat here for a long time. We're back at the other place.
And we're into the first corner.
I got some really sad news that Tom had passed away.
I'm a buyer for the car, you know, as it sits, around $500,000.
Legendary Motorcar started out of a small single-car garage in 1985. I've been through the ups and downs of the collector car market. I've been lucky enough to turn my passion into my business. My team shares that same passion, and together we buy, sell, restore, and race some of the greatest cars on the planet. I'm Peter Klutt, and this is Legendary Motorcar. I got to go down to the Viper Cup race this weekend, and you know, I know you've been doing a great job with the Corvettes and they're getting done. You know, Gary's come a long way in a short period of time. He's doing a great job driving the truck, and I feel real comfortable sending him just about anywhere. He's also been doing a little bit of buying and selling, mainly with late model sports cars. But lately he's also shown a real interest in the 50 sports racing cars, and I've been telling him, you know what, go out there, do your homework, don't be shy. I'm trying to give him a little bit of rope. I just want to make sure that I give him enough rope that he doesn't feel like he's being smothered, but I don't want to give him too much rope where he hangs himself with it.
You know, I love race cars and watching races, and I'm super into 1940s, 50s, and 60s race cars. And in 1954, the closest thing you could buy to a race car that you could drive on the street was a 300 SL. The problem with such a special car like a 300 SL is that everyone either wants to keep it and give it to their kids, or they want way too much money for the car.
You know, I've been lucky enough to do various forms of racing. I've been able to do some Trans Am, some NASCAR, some vintage racing. So when a good buddy of mine, Ralph Gill, who's head of SRT, said, come down to Monticello and do a Viper Cup race, I just jumped at it. I thought this would be a great opportunity since Tom Nachu actually shoots the Viper Cup races. I used to do a TV show with him called Dream Car Garage, and it'd be a lot of fun. He was always a ton of fun. Ralph asked me to be one of 2 celebrity drivers.
ACRX Celebrity Program was really built to bring people from different walks of life. We've had wrestlers, action sports heroes, pro drivers to the series, like Bill Goldberg, Tommy Kendall, Andy Bell, some great names. Again, some of their community would never have discovered the Viper community had it not been for this series. So we're really excited to have them, and they usually leave with a big grin on their faces.
A couple of weeks before the race, I got some really sad news that Tom had passed away, so it's going to be a pretty emotional weekend.
I was asked to say a few words about Tom, and all I could say is what a great friend he'd been over the years, and then we had a moment of silence to remember him with.
I hadn't been to Monticello before, and I hadn't driven one of these ACRXs before, and I'd never done a standing start, so this was going to be an interesting first race. I didn't realize when they have 1 minute to go that it meant that any time within that minute, they're gonna go. So I'm sitting there, I see the 1 minute to go, I pull it out of gear, and all of a sudden the lights go out and go, holy crap, I gotta go. So I got a terrible start.
Keating a good start, but a huge start. Whoa, the veteran Kurt Solberger got a brilliant launch and looks like he has slotted into third. Tom, there's a good reason as well they're starting on this back straight. All sorts of undulation here at Monticello Motor Club, anywhere else on the circuit, and they'd be rolling before the start. And it also gave them a little bit of room down into this very complex first chicane sequence, but they thought maybe it'd let them sort of settle out a little bit. Not the case. Everybody being very aggressive.
Ralph and I were joking before the race, and I said, if you get in the way, I'm just gonna tap you.
Yeah, so I had a lot of respect for Peter, and then here we are, you know, just first lap, and he's already up my bumper. I felt this huge bang behind me. I said, hey, easy, buddy. You know, so hopefully he can keep his nose clean next time, or else it's gonna be loggerheads.
So I finally got a hold of an older guy who has a 300 SL that lives just a couple hours away that's allowing me to come out and have a look at his car. You know, I'm real comfortable doing deals around 40, 50, 60 grand, but my dad's always been telling me that a deal is a deal and there's no difference in how much it is. So I'm really gonna take that to heart when I go and see this guy. When I pulled up to the condo, I didn't see the gullwing out in the parking lot. That's definitely a good sign.
Hello?
Hey, it's Gary coming to look at the car.
I just meet you in the lobby, okay?
All right, I'll just wait here.
Okay.
Okay.
See you. Bye.
Bye. Hello?
Hello.
I'm Gary. Talking with this older German guy on the phone, he said he's had the car for almost 50 years, and this guy must be real close to 90 years old.
You're younger than I was thinking, you know.
Well, let's go see the car. Where is it?
Okay.
When did you stop driving it, do you think?
About 30 years ago.
Oh, so it sat here for a long time, or back in
Yes.
this place? Yeah? Wow. This is it here?
Yeah.
Now I see the car there under a cover in the corner. This thing could really be a great car.
I'm down at the Monticello racetrack down in New York, and Gary's found a 300 SL Gullwing that he's trying to buy.
As I pull the cover off, I see the paint's certainly not a 10, but I'm gonna need to look at the interior, I'm gonna need to look under the car and at the engine to figure out the real value of this car.
Pretty dusty.
Do you mind if I open it up and look around?
Go ahead.
Yeah? As I go in for a closer look, I open up the door and the interior smells and looks original. I open up the hood and the tag matches the engine number. The engine really looks original. I look under the car, looks like the thing has the original belly pans. This is a great original rust-free car. Who serviced the car? Who serviced the engine?
I did, you know, I changed the spark plugs. It's nothing to serve, you know, on these cars. You know, this is old,
Yeah?
and I am pretty good, you know,
Wow, that's
to
impressive.
do it, you know.
So I'm looking in the wheel well and it looks like someone took a can opener to the inside of it. What happened here?
Oh, I put on the tires a chain on, you know, I went to the mountain, you know, and the chain broke and hit that things, you know.
Wow, so you chained up the tires through the mountains.
Yeah.
I can't believe the guy chained up a Gullwing. Original spare tire?
Yeah, that's the original spare tire, yeah.
Wow, and the jack and everything.
The thing I love about Ralph, even though he's head of SRT, he's a real racer and he doesn't mind mixing it up.
He knows already that there's a couple of spots. He was able to rattle them. Oh, and he tried it there, and he got into the back of Booth. And it looked like it may have been a little bit optimistic. Right as he committed to an opportunity, the door closed and he couldn't get out of it.
I think Ralph knew that I would keep bumping him if he got in the way, so he was trying to get ahead of the guy in front of him. He ends up taking both of them out. It was great. I got 2 positions.
He's just got to keep it tidy.
Keating, though, has enough in hand. Peter Klutt for third.
Peter, what a great race out there. Tell us about it.
It was really good. I was a little apprehensive on the start. I didn't realize when the minute to go comes up, I thought we had a minute to go. Lights came on and went off, and I'm, holy crap. So I lost the position there, and then, you know, had a good dice with Ralph for, you know, a couple corners side by side, which was great. And Ralph and another guy got a little together, which, you know, let me get by there. I got off the track and just had a great race. It's been such a great weekend so far. I got a text from Gary saying that he's on his way to look at a 300 SL Gullwing. Now he's making me a little nervous that he's really taken to heart that he can make his own decisions.
I know enough about Gullwings, and after a fairly quick look at this car, I know I'm safe at 500 grand. I'm gonna make this guy an offer. Well, I mean, the car looks like it's in solid condition, but the big question is, when was it running last?
About 32 years ago, you know, 31, 32, you know, I don't know exactly the year, but it was inside,
Yeah.
always in a warm place.
So you had it towed here, huh, when you moved here?
Yes, I got it towed, you know, but I moved, you know, to the apartment, you know, and
Well, I'm a buyer for the car, you know, as it sits, you know, without it running, probably around $500,000, around $500,000 range, and then I'm gonna take the risk to see if I can get it running.
well, I saw, you know, you sell cars like this, you know, about $1 million and over $1 million. And
Well, I mean, those cars that brought over $1 million, you know, they're fully restored, and it takes $500,000 to restore one of these types of cars. And you know, all those cars had the Rudge wheels. This one doesn't have the Rudge wheels. They had the special, the Nardi steering wheel. This one doesn't. They had the Becker radio. This one doesn't. I mean, it's really, it doesn't have the luggage. It's just kind of a base car with, you know, no options.
Well, I don't care, you know. It's no option, you know, but it is a good car. And I got to talk to my kids, you know, what the kids say.
Right, right. I'm a little disappointed I couldn't close the deal today, but I'm going to call him tomorrow while he's still in the mood to sell the car.
I finished third in the first race of this Viper Cup Challenge at Monticello, and Gary's made an offer of $500,000 for a Go-Wing, but the old man wants to talk to his kids about it.
Well, the Viper Cup series actually came through our testing program. When we developed the ACR, I realized the car was quite good on the track as is. With very little preparation, was able to become quite competitive. So we actually were at the end of the production cycle of the ACR program, and we decided to take all that we've learned from the Comp Coupe racing program in various forms of racing throughout the years and put them into this car. So to create a very low-cost, single-spec series for our owners. And we built 50 ACRXs. Unfortunately, the vast majority of them are in safekeeping. People are collecting them instead of racing them. But the ones that are racing, it's made for quite some entertainment on the track.
The second race, they inverted the grid, so I started third from the back. I was going to pay attention to the lights today, and then it just kept going through my mind. Could Gary really get this deal done with this old-timer on the SL?
Watch for the lights to go out. They are. We are racing for round 8.
And we're into the first corner.
Oh, and that chicane, so easy to overheat it in terms of pace in. Everybody, so well, there's a little off-course excursion for you.
And Peter Klutt behind, and LP gets him.
Compelling battle for the 4th spot. And Klutt just got a great run out of the turn, trying to get around Marc Montour. That got Montour offline. He really had to pinch it to not run off the track. And I think he's just let Ben Keating through as well. He has. Keating now 5th, and he's going to go for the double, trying to make the move on Klutt. They're side by side again, Tom.
This corner is just providing so much action this weekend. Unreal racing here. Klutt still in front, coming down into the left-hander. Can Keating do anything about it?
Tell you, watching some awfully impressive driving from this man, Mr. Klutt. And he's got, as I said, the points leader, the winningest driver in the history of this championship all over the back of him. And he is not going quietly. You got to give some serious kudos to the drive that he is putting on here. LP Montour, the lights flashing. He knows it. He has done it. He has earned his first win. Here are the final results. Montour, Gilles, and Booth, the podium. Peter Klutt, boy, a 3rd and a 4th.
No, you know, there's guys like, you know, Peter Klutt, right? You see the guy on TV, you figure, you know, he talks a lot about cars but doesn't know anything. So we figure, bring him down here, strap him in a car, see if he can back it up. Can he back up all his blah blah with some real driving? And, you know, to my surprise, the guy can wheel a car. So it was quite fun to see him today, mixing it up with some of the best in the league.
Talking to my dad on the phone last night and telling him about the 300 SL and giving him the condition report, he said we're probably safe at 550. Hi, is Richard there, please? Hey, how's it going? It's Gary from yesterday, came and looked at your Go-Wing. After talking with him on the phone for about half an hour and explaining to him that I don't know if this car is gonna run, he finally agreed to do the 550.
All right, take care.
This is one of my absolute favorite cars, and it's my first really big deal. I couldn't be happier. This deal really wasn't any different than any other one. Whether you're buying a $5,000 car or a $500,000 car, you're still just dealing with people.
You know, I was a little freaked out. Every time I looked at the fender of one of the cars, there was a picture of Tom, and I'd worked with him for 10 years. That night, a bunch of us got together for a drink at a bar, and, you know, we told Tom stories. It was great.
30 seconds for Tom Natch, you can't do it. But he was an amazing guy, and never saw him without a smile on his face.
One of the things that I think was a Tom Natchu gift was that he had the ability to plant a seed in people and make them experience and grow in ways that they didn't even know were possible.
He made people love him just by caring about them, and you know what? He'll be missed. We need more guys like that in the world.
Great big heart and probably too big a body. We're hearing stories about him trying to wedge himself into a G1 Porsche. but
To try and choose one Tom story would be nearly impossible. I mean, we had stories like when he was crewing for me and he would give me the finger every time I would pass pit lane.
Well, this one's about the first time I prepared a race car for Tom. He was in pit lane at Mosport with his open helmet, and he had a smoke hanging out of his mouth waiting to go on the track. It's strictly forbidden. Tom was the only one to get away with it.
The best thing if you were a novice racer was to befriend yourself to Tom. Tom would help you like you wouldn't believe. You know, there's so many people that are experienced racers today that can really thank Tom for a lot of guidance.
When I heard about his passing, I was very kind of shocked in a way, and to me still it feels a bit strange without him around us. And he was larger-than-life character. Tom, I love you to bits, and I hope you just got pedal to the metal up there, pal. Here's to you.
The Gullwing that Gary had bought was just arriving.
I couldn't believe how excited Gary was when the reliable truck pulled up with his Gullwing.
Now the big question was, could Teddy get the car running? Hey, Teddy.
Hey, Peter.
Our little beauty here that Gary found. Been off the road since 1977. Okay, so you're gonna have to go through everything. The guy claimed that he parked it running. I don't know if the guy's full of it or not, but old timer. So just go through it, see if we can get it running.
Okay, do the usual and I'll keep you in the loop.
Okay, thanks.
You know, this car is definitely a pretty good car, and if this car is capable of running, Teddy will get it running. But I'm still gonna be nervous until I'm actually driving it.
Over the years, Peter's been bringing more and more of these cars to the shop. I've been learning a lot more about them, and we have a complete shop manual on them. One of the things I've learned is that they're a very finicky car. Mercedes will tell you that from the very beginning. They talk about mass airflow density in 1957 that most of us never even heard of until the 80s. So these cars are very high tech for their time, but very finicky. Well, in order to get this car underway, we have to first drop the belly pan to get access to the oil pan, fuel lines, rad hoses, things like that. One of the things we're going to do is purge all the old fuel out, providing the electric pump works. Okay, Chris, turn it on now. In this case, it did. Of course, like any other car, out comes the oil. Mercedes-Benz 300 SLs were particularly bad for oil dilution from the gasoline. These were a cylinder-injected mechanical fuel injection system. The oil would quite often get contaminated with gasoline. These cars could run anywhere from 8 liters to 14 liters of oil. We only put 8 in because one of the things you'd like to do is get the oil hot enough to boil the gasoline out of it. They also came with an oil cooler, and Mercedes recommended that unless you were racing the car, to put a blockage over the oil cooler to get some heat into the oil and prevent this contamination. Of course, we check all the rad hoses, tightening top and bottom. We top up the radiator. This car had a basic points ignition system, and as you can see by the picture in the firewall, the original ballast resistor wasn't used, and the one that's been substituted looks like it's off an early Corvette, and it doesn't work either. So for this purpose, I just picked up a Chrysler one and wired it in to see if we had an ignition system. That's good. And that's good. And hopefully we have a primary and secondary ignition system. You ready? We'll do a spark check the old-fashioned way with a screwdriver. Lots of spark there. We'll put in some fresh gasoline and see if we can get this girl to run.
Any luck, Teddy?
Well, Pete, we got plenty of spark. I fixed up the ignition system. I've got gas getting to the injection pump, but it's not coming out of it. It won't even sputter. It turns, but it won't catch.
Okay, so you got to rebuild the pump or do
We got to
something?
take it off, at least have a look, yeah.
Okay, yeah, pull her off.
Okay.
All right.
Well, this is the 300 SL fuel injection pump. It had 2 major problems. The first one being is the mechanical pump on the injection pump was seized. It would not allow any fuel to pass through it. Therefore, it wouldn't supply the rest of the injection pump. The other problem was the diaphragm was ripped in the injection pump itself. The diaphragm underneath this cover operates this rod, which is connected to the rack inside the pump. As the rack pivots left and right, it creates rich and lean conditions depending on engine demand. This other lever is the choke enrichment, and it moves the rack all the way to full rich for starting. Sometimes it's necessary to keep it on for a few extra seconds. Once we replaced the diaphragm and the cover, I vacuum tested it, and you can see that the rack now operates properly.
Teddy's hoping now that he's got the fuel pump working and installed, the car will fire right up.
Hello.
Hey, Teddy. You got it running? Oh, somebody will be impressed. Yeah, I'll tell him. Gary, your little gull wing is running, driving.
It drives?
Yeah.
Oh.
I look out the window and I see Gary doing laps in the gull wing around the building. He's like a kid in a candy store.
Now that the car is running, I know my dad is going to want to sell it to a guy and then try and do the restoration. But I think it would be great if we could do a full mechanical restoration and drive it in a neat event like the Colorado Grand. I think if we can get this car fully mechanically running and then leave it in that barn find condition, it would be way cooler than driving around in a fully restored car.
You know what was better than Gary just getting this car bought was the enthusiasm I could see he had for old cars and the confidence that it instilled in him. As soon as he got this deal done, every time he's on the phone now, I can hear in his voice he's confident about doing a deal.
I trusted lies that wore a face. Now I'm the ghost you can't replace. Cut by betrayal, stitched by pain. But now I rise unleashed again. You forged a monster in disguise, but I've become your last surprise. I've got a blade within, cutting through all your sins. I won't break, I won't forgive. This is the way I live. Your kingdom falls tonight by hands that once held your sweet deceit, your velvet chains are nothing now but rusted stains. I found my strength in shadowed cries, a warrior born from severed ties. You forged a